Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi hamda dhakirin ash-shakirin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala imam al-mursaleen. Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, broadcasting to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The first question is from Lynn. Lynn says, can you please explain the term of istiwa? Does Allah sit on His throne? Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in 7 different places in the Quran the verb istiwa. Ar-Rahman ala al-arsh istawa. And this is one of Allah's attributes related to actions. And when it comes to interpreting it by sitting, this is inappropriate, though some of the scholars mentioned it. Because in English, al-istiwa is to rise over or to be over. And it refers to the elevation and the height, to be high. And all of this, in our own conviction, is known. But due to the fact that it is one of Allah's attributes, and we know what it means in Arabic. So when we say istawa ala or istawa ila, this all means to be over something, or to elevate over something, or to be high over something. And we believe that Allah Azza wa Jal was there in the very beginning, and there was nothing else with Him. And Allah Azza wa Jal is independent, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the first without an ending. He is the first without a beginning, and He's the last without an ending, subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was Allah, and there was nothing with Him at all, which means that Allah does not need the arsh. And the arsh in Arabic language is what you sit on. And the kursi is the stool where you put your feet on. But when we talk about Allah's arsh and Allah's kursi, this is a different story altogether, though the meaning itself is understood. But as the creed of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we prove to Allah what He proved and affirmed for Himself, and what His Messenger ﷺ affirmed to His Lord Azza wa Jal. So we do not distort the meaning. We do not deny the attribute. We do not have false interpretation, ta'wil. And we also don't ask about the how this thing is taking place, which is a takyif. But we believe as it is. And that's why when a man came to Imam Malik ibn Anas, may Allah be pleased with him and have mercy on his soul, and asked him, how is this istiwa? We know what istiwa is, but how is it with Allah Azza wa Jal? He looked down and he was all sweaty. May Allah have mercy on him, and he said, al-istiwa'u ma'loom. The term istiwa, we all know what it means. Wal-kayf majhool. But how it is, this is something in Allah's knowledge. وَالسُّؤَالُ عَنْهُ بِدْعَةٌ. And to ask about how, this is an innovation in the religion of Allah. The Prophet told us that Allah Azza wa Jal has a face, that Allah Azza wa Jal has eyes, that Allah has 2 hands, that Allah Azza wa Jal has 2 feet, that Allah has fingers. But all of these are a description of Allah Azza wa Jal that we understand, but we do not distort, we do not false interpret, we do not ask how, and we do not deny them. So we say, yes, Allah has 2 hands. How? It's none of your business. This is something that falls under the ayah number 11 in Surah Ash-Shura. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There's nothing similar to him, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he is all hearing, all seeing. So Allah is all hearing, and I'm hearing, but does my hearing come close to Allah's hearing? Definitely not. It's a totally different thing, though we know what hearing is. So this is a general rule when it comes to the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia.
مساكم الله خير. السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله مساك الله بالرضا. Yes أخي.
كيف حالك شيخ؟ حياك الله.
الله يسلمك ويبارك فيك.
شيخ, 3.5 decades before, a man got married to a lady, and he has discarded her. She left her. He has 2 kids, but the problem is, he has given one house on her name, the wife's name, and later on the woman, she sold the house and break the upbringing of the children, education, and got married and all that. This is more than 3.5 decades ago. Still, he's not in contact with his wife. So what's his ruling on this? I mean, no contact, no visit, nothing, no talking, no phone, no calls, nothing like that.
Okay.
My second question is there any Islamic ruling if a person has a lot of debts, maybe he has borrowed money by mistake, he has taken some money from the people who has given him something like that, and he has nothing now to, return the money. Maybe he don't remember, he want to give money back to the people, not available, or maybe he will give it to the charity, but he has no money. Is it possible that he can, body parts of his, he can sell and get the money and relieves his debts, like kidney and all that? Can he sell it like that in
Okay.
Islamic ruling?
I will answer you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome, Akhi. Muhammad from Saudi. Muhammad?
Yes.
Yes, Akhti, what's your question?
I want to ask if my 11-year-old is enough for me to travel alone, my son. And then secondly, last week I performed Umrah, and after I performed Umrah, I remembered, after I cut my hair, I remembered I had a waswas if I had performed 7 rounds in Sa'i or 6. But it was too late, and I was out. But at the time I cut my hair, I was pretty sure it's 7. So do I have to repeat, or do I have to do something about it?
Any more questions?
No, thank you.
I will answer you, inshallah. Muhammad from Sri Lanka. Muhammad from Sri Lanka.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sir, I want personal phone number of Sheikh.
Okay, the brothers in the control will give you my phone number, inshallah. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia says that a man married a woman, and he has 2 children, and all of a sudden, from 3.5 years ago, he completely boycotted her and her children. No phone calls, no messaging. He's not even financing or providing or supporting his family. So what's the ruling on this? This is totally haram. It is totally prohibited for a Muslim to waste his duties and obligations towards his family. If he doesn't want or love the woman, he divorce her. But don't leave her like this, unmarried, actually, but married, and she cannot do anything because she still has the marriage contract with you. You have to fulfill your obligations towards her, physically, financially, and socially as well. You cannot just simply leave the woman like this unattended, without taking care of her, without knowing what she needs, or your children. By far, this person is going to be punished by Allah Azza wa Jal, regardless of what his wife had done to him. If she cheated him, if she did something that provoked his anger, akhi, if you can't solve it, divorce her and let her go. And you still have to support your children. There's no excuse for you at all. We have Roj from Saudi.
Hello.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
She has 3 questions.
Yes.
One is first one. It's about Surah Yaseen. It's a common practice in Pakistan that people recite Surah Yaseen near a person who is about to die, or they think that the day should begin with the recitation of Surah Yaseen, and like there are some things that they associate with Surah Yaseen. So I want to know that is it proven from the Sahih Hadith or not?
Okay.
My second question is about a student. You actually tried to make an assignment. He had an assignment, and he due to some reason he was unable to make that assignment. And he talked to the authorities, the owner of the institute, and the owner of the institute suggested that you can give me 4,000 riyals, and I will do this job for you. So in the meanwhile, what happened is that the owner died. Now the student who had to give him 4,000 riyals, he did not give him the money, and the person died. So this money, he should give this money to whom?
Okay.
Belonging to his family, somebody from his family, or what?
Okay.
And my third question is that if a man wants to buy a piece of land, and for her youngest daughter, and as he has all his children grown up and they are settled, so he just want to buy a land for her daughter, and he doesn't want her other children to know about it, and he will name that land because she is the youngest and she's 17 years old. So he thinks that as I'm old, so in my life I can gift it to her, I can make this for her, and this could help her in her future. So what is the ruling on this?
Okay, I will answer inshallah.
Thank you. Jazakallah.
Wajazak. Ahmed from USA?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, what can I do for you, Akhi?
My question is, if somebody went to hunt and is the person is disbeliever, and he gave a Muslim a meat from what he hunted, is he allowed for Muslim to eat from that meat?
I could not understand the question, Akhi Ahmed.
I said, if somebody went to hunt,
Went where?
like a hunter, he went to hunt, and the person is disbeliever, and after he hunted maybe a deer, he gave it to a Muslim, a part of it he gave it to a Muslim. Can Muslim eat from that?
He went to aunt? What do you mean by aunt?
Hunting, going hunting animals.
Okay. So you're asking about the slaughtering?
Yeah, the person is disbeliever, so he went to hunting with gun. They killed the animal with gun, and when he hunt, he gave it to Muslim. Can Muslim eat from that?
Okay, I will answer inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan.
Wajazak. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, he says that a person has debts. Is it permissible for him to sell some of his body parts, like a kidney or parts of his liver, or organ donation? This is an issue of dispute among scholars. First of all, they all agree that selling is not permissible. Donating while you are alive is not permissible of something that your life is dependent on. So donating your kidney, for example, you may have two, you give one, the other one fails. No, you should not do this. Giving part of your liver that can regenerate itself, or any part of the body, this is okay. There's no problem in that, inshallah. After death, the scholars have different opinion, and the most authentic opinion that I support is that it is not permissible for a person to donate any of his body parts after his death, because honoring the deceased is a must. Doing an autopsy on it, or playing with the dead body, is totally haram. Besides, it's not yours to give away, so you cannot do this, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have Ahmed from Saudi Arabia.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
I just want to ask about the punishment of not wearing hijab.
Okay.
Based on an Islamic state, how did the Sahabas did when the ladies didn't wear hijab? What was the punishment for that?
So the punishment in this dunya.
In this dunya, yeah. Based on Quran and Sunnah.
Okay, I will answer you inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Muhammad, she says that she has an 11-year-old son. Can he be her mahram when traveling? It's an issue of dispute, and the most authentic opinion that a mahram has to reach the age of puberty. Because before the age of puberty, his actions and transactions are not valid for himself. And this is the opinion of Sheikh bin Baz, Ibn Uthaymeen, and all the great scholars of Islam that we know of and take them as shuyukh. They say he has to reach the age of puberty. She says that I offered a Umrah, and due to wiswas that I suffer from, after completing my Umrah and cutting my hair, on the way back, I had my doubts that I may have done 6 rounds around the Kaaba instead of 7. I tell you, Sister Muhammad, that these are doubts from shaitan. As long as you finished the ibadah and you had no doubts in your mind when you finished it that it was complete, then it is complete. Whatever arises afterwards is from shaitan and from your waswas, and you must ignore it. Rouge from Saudi Arabia, she says that we have in the subcontinent few beliefs regarding reciting Surah Yaseen in the morning or when a person is dying, etc. So is there any authenticity of that? The answer is no. The most authentic opinion is that all hadiths regarding Surah Yaseen are not authentic. Maybe the one that it is disputed upon is the hadith of Iqra'u Yaseen 'inda mawtakum, that those who are dying, not those who had died, those who are dying, recite to them Surah Yaseen, because in it there is the glad tidings of the man who came and warned his people how Allah Azza wa Jal has sent him angels to give him the glad tidings of Jannah and how a good ending he had. So this makes the person who is dying to be optimistic. But the hadith is not authentic, yet this is the only one that can be used, and that is when a person is dying, that we recite to him Surah Yaseen. Her second question was about an issue that a lot of the people that go to college use. And that is, if they have a research or they have to do some sort of research for their PhD or for their master's, it has a name to it, I don't know what that is, and it's difficult for them. So they go to this Tom, Dick, or Harry, and they give him money, and he does it for them. Now, in her case, it's even worse, because the people in the administration of the university told her that you have to pay 4,000 whatever, and we will do it for you. Now, this is a clear-cut bribe, as they are working in the university and they're charging their salaries from the administration. But what about if it's a third party, and someone does this as a freelancer? There's a research on sociology, he does that for you. How many pages you want, cut and paste, and voila, he has it ready for you, and he charges peanuts. So what's the ruling on that? This is haram, because we are ordered to collaborate and to cooperate on whatever is birr and righteous, and to refrain from collaboration or cooperating on whatever is evil and a sin. So this is what Allah Azza wa Jalla has ordered us, and hence this is not permissible. Now, the issue is that the person who was writing the essay or the research died, and he finished doing his work and he delivered it, and the person took it to the university, but the person did not give it, the student did not give him the money. He died before that. So what to do? Is it permissible to give it to his family, as they are his heirs and they will inherit it, or give it to charity? As long as we have agreed that this project, the whole project, is haram, in this case you must not give the money to that individual, and you must not give the money to his family. You should give the money to means of charity, to poor Muslims, so that you would cleanse your wealth from such an amount. And likewise, for example, a person says, I fornicated with a prostitute, and then I repented and sought Allah's forgiveness what should I do with the money? Should I give her her fee or not? Scholars say, no, you should not give her her fee, because this is a haram money that you will deliver to her. Rather, take the money and spend it in means of charity, as means of cleansing your money. Her third question, Rouge from Saudi Arabia, she says that there is a father that has a number of children, and he wants to write a property or buy a house for his youngest daughter, who is 17 years of age, and he doesn't want to tell the other offspring of his about this. Is this permissible? The answer is, this is totally prohibited. This is exactly what the Prophet ﷺ warned of when he said, fear Allah and be fair to your children. You are not allowed to segregate in spending and giving away over your children. There is a difference between giving a gift and providing the need for the needs of your children. For example, if I have 5 children, one of them goes to college and the other one goes to kindergarten. Pocket money, I would give the one who goes to college more than the one who goes to the kindergarten. And I would buy a car for the eldest rather than buy anything for the youngster. This is not a gift. This is what requires for them to maintain their livelihood. But if it's Eid, for example, or if I want to give them a gift for their wedding, if they're getting married, no, this is different. This is a gift that I have to give everybody else. If one of them falls sick and I have to take him or her to hospital, whatever I pay, I don't have to give the others, because this is providing and supporting the child, not giving them a gift. But when it comes to a gift like writing a property, no, they have to be all equal. Zainab from Gambia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I have an account in an Islamic bank.
Mm-hmm.
They claim to pay profit instead of interest. But so many people doubt that they might pay profit.
Okay.
But do not follow all the requirements of an Islamic bank.
Okay.
Now, what do I do with the profit? Should I consume it or give it away?
Okay, I will answer. Any more questions?
I have another question, sir.
Yes.
A friend of mine uses prayer beads.
A friend of yours is what?
Determine what to do. Prayer beads. Prayer beads.
Oh, prayer beads. Okay.
Yes, to determine what to do when she is faced with a problem. She uses words like she recites Fatiha after that, and she will say, Ya Allah, you are the knower of everything. If it is true that I use these prayer beads just for your zikr and nothing more, I want you to guide me by moving these beads from east to west or from north to south, that kind of thing. Is this permissible in Islam?
So she uses the prayer beads to find answers to questions or problems?
Yes, problems. She will be faced with a problem and she would want to get some guidance immediately.
Okay.
And she would say, Ya Allah.
Okay, I understand. I understand. Any more questions?
Yes. No, thank you.
You're welcome. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia. Muhammad? I think we lost Muhammad. Okay, Ahmed from the USA. His question was about hunting with an H, but I think the brother is from a French descent, or he uses French. They do not say the H, so they say hotel, they say allo instead of hello, or hotel. And he is asking about a kafir, a disbeliever. If he shoots a prey, if he hunts an animal, and then he gives the meat to a Muslim, is it permissible for him to eat? The answer is dependent on the religion of this disbeliever. As Muslims, we can only eat the meat of an animal that is slaughtered by a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian, and that is it. We cannot eat or consume meat that is done by Buddhists if they kill or slaughter, or any other denomination. Likewise, when it comes to shooting an animal, if a Muslim shoots an animal without saying Bismillah, we cannot eat from it. If a Jew or a Christian shoot an animal, we are allowed to eat from it even if we're not sure whether they said it's Bismillah or not. If we are sure that they said other than Bismillah, then it's haram. So if, let's say, an atheist shoots an animal, shoots an ostrich, shoots any halal animal, a zebra, and he brings me the meat, I cannot eat from that. If a Christian or a Jew does that, he hunts and brings me a duck that he hunted, and he invites me to eat from it, I can eat from it without any problem. So I hope this answers your question. Ibtisam from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah wa barakatuh.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. What can I do for you?
How and the family?
Alhamdulillah, all are well.
MashaAllah. Please, I have two questions.
Yes.
My first question is hijab for women.
Okay.
Which is the correct opinion? Is it from head to feet? The excluded parts should be only the face and the hands, or with the feet? Because some scholars says that the feet too has to be
are you referring,
covered.
Ibtisam, are you referring to salat or out in the streets?
No, hijab for women.
Not in salat, generally speaking.
Yes, not in salat.
Okay. What else? Second question.
Yes, the prophet name in Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can he be called Muhammad, or is it wrong to call him Muhammad?
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah. Any more questions?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Nadia from Saudi Arabia.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Yes.
My first question is, someone told me today that wearing artificial rings or jewelry is not allowed in Islam. Is it correct? And my second question is regarding you told about the gifts, that we should be it should be equal for each child. What about the wedding? Because sometimes the parents are buying the gifts for the daughters who is getting married, and there are the other daughters, but they are waiting for their weddings. So is it must for them that for first daughter, for example, if she is getting married, they have to give to each daughter, or it's okay if they will give the next time in their weddings?
Okay. Any more questions?
No, thank you very much.
I will answer you, inshallah. We have a short break. Stay tuned, and inshallah, we'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Aziza from Nigeria is on the line. Aziza?
Is it permissible for a lady or female to practice law?
Aziza, I did not get your question from the beginning, please.
Is it permissible for a female lady to practice law?
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
And we have Muhammad from Saudi Arabia.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Salamullah.
It's nice to talk to you, Shaykh. I'm really pleased with you.
Jazakallah khair.
It's really pleased. And Shaykh, I have one question.
Yes.
I am taking fish oil tablet in Saudi Arabia, but that tablet I seen that it is contained gelatin. It says gelatin. But I am really wondered whether Saudi Arabia is that allowed or not, whether I have to continue. That is my first question, Shaykh. And second question, I know the sunnah, taking the, after janaba we have to bath, but my question is to say, even though we don't have any janaba, if I take the shower in a sunnah model doing wudu and everything, is that okay, or is that, just want to clarification.
So this second type of ghusl, you're asking, is it valid without wudu?
Without janaba, even though if I don't have janaba, I am doing the sunnah bath every time.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand, inshallah. I will ask you.
Thank you, Shaykh.
You are welcome. Ahmed from Sweden.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, at my workplace, there was two colleagues. They made a bet, and one of them lost. And we told them that betting is haram. It's not correct to bet. So the one who lost, he's wondering, does he have to pay up, or is it bad?
Both are Muslims?
The one who made the bet and lost, he is Muslim, but the other one is not a Muslim. The one that won the bet.
Okay.
That's my question, Sheikh. Does he have to pay up, or does
Okay,
he not?
I will answer you, inshallah, akhi. Ahmed from Saudi Arabia says, what is the punishment for a woman who does not wear the hijab? And he's asking about the Sahaba, the companions. What did they do for such women? First of all, there weren't any women who were not abiding by the hijab at the time of the companions, alhamdulillah. And secondly, there isn't any prescribed punishment. And the prescribed punishments are over a specific number of sins. So if someone kills another, if someone steals, if someone slanders, if someone drinks or consumes intoxicants, if someone commits adultery, etc., these are prescribed punishments. But there are sins that are far greater in magnitude than these sins, yet there isn't any prescribed punishment for them in this life. For example, عقوق الوالدين, being disrespectful for your parents and not doing your duties towards them or disobeying them. This is one of the major sins that Allah associated with shirk. However, there is no prescribed punishment for it in this life. This doesn't mean it's a small sin. It means it's so huge and great that Allah Azza wa Jal would punish those in the hereafter severely. And this doesn't mean that the Muslim ruler would not put a punishment from his own ijtihad accordingly. So for a woman who does not wear hijab, there is no prescribed punishment. Yet the Muslim ruler should enforce hijab to be worn by women, and those who do not comply must be punished according to his own judgment. Zainab from Gambia says that there is an Islamic bank that gives a profit over deposits and bank accounts. And she's doubtful about this. And she says, what should I do with this profit they're giving me? It is like interest. First of all, if this is a proper Islamic bank that has a Sharia board which governs the transactions of the bank and ensures that it deals in an Islamic fashion, in this case, this profit that they're putting into your account, if it is variable, it's not constant, it's not always 2.5 or 5% or 7%. It's variable. Sometimes it goes 1%, 7%, 10%, 3%. And sometimes it may gain some losses. In this case, it's halal because they're taking the money and they are putting it into halal transactions and investments, and they're sharing with you some of the profit, and there's nothing wrong in that. If you're doubtful, you can easily take that profit or interest, as you call it, and give it to charity without any sin on you, inshallah. Her second question is about a woman that uses the prayer beads, the masbaha, and she uses it to sort of find out a decision she wants to make, a solution to her problems. And this is not like flipping a coin. This is more like drawing the lots, which the mushrik used to do. This is haram. Flipping a coin to decide which way to go is permissible in a number of cases. For example, if I have like 4 wives and I want to travel on a business trip, which one to take? I have to flip a coin so that one of them would be chosen. Not because I want to, but because this is her luck. And this is what the Prophet used to do, alayhi salatu wasalam. It's known as qur'ah. But in this sister's problem of solving process, which is using the prayer beads and saying dua regarding east, west, north, and south, all of this is an innovation and it is totally prohibited. We have, I think, Jeddah from the USA. Jeddah from the... Salamtullah.
Sheikh, I want to ask about the halal and haram meat. I really am confused with that question. We have all this KFC, and we know they don't, most of the meat, they don't slaughter them correctly. Is it okay to eat all this meat that we are not sure if they slaughter?
Okay.
We're not even sure if it's Christian or Jew, but the meat's all over the place. Like,
okay.
How can you trust if it's Christian or anybody?
Any more questions?
That's very confusing for us. Please, can you explain it, please? Thank you.
I will, inshallah. I will. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
I have three questions for you, Sheikh.
Yes.
How do we do masa over socks when we have to do wudu again? My second question is, when we do wudu, do we wipe the excess water from our face, or should we let it drip? Somebody said to me that if you let it drip, some of your sins are gone. So just wanted a clarification on that. My third question is, during the Friday sermon, when the Imam makes dua, do we raise our hand and say Ameen, or should we just quietly say Ameen sitting down? Those are my questions. Thank you so much, Sheikh.
You're quite welcome, Akhi. I will answer you, inshallah. And Ibtisam from Nigeria, she says, is covering the feet mandatory in hijab? And the answer is yes. It is mandatory for a woman to cover all of her body when she goes out, and non-mahram would look at her. And the dispute is whether the face and the hands must be covered or not. And it's an issue of dispute among scholars. I personally believe that it is mandatory for a woman to even cover her face, because the beauty of a woman lies entirely in her face. If you have a Miss Universe figure with a gorilla face, nobody would look at her. But if you have a beautiful, shocking face that has a beautiful and gorgeous smile, even if the body is not that good, one can compromise. So the face is the area of attraction of a woman. And this is why when a person from Medina, from the Ansar, married a woman, the Prophet, or got engaged to a woman, the Prophet said, did you look at her? And he said, no. He said, go and look at her, because the Ansar have something in their eyes that may turn you off. So you don't want to get married to someone and then end up not finding what you like. Sauba from Guinea.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah barakatuh.
Hi, my question was, is there a certain time that you are not allowed to pray after Fajr, once the sun rises until, say, maybe 15 minutes later, or can I pray as soon as I wake up, even though I missed the prayer?
So your question is, if I miss the prayer and the sun is about to rise, can I pray or not?
Yeah, like say the sunrise is 5:42 a.m., for example. Can I pray at 5:42 until whenever I want, or do I have to wait 15 minutes after sunrise to pray?
Got your question. Any more questions?
No, Sheikh, that's all.
Okay, I will answer inshallah. Muna from the Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
I wanted to ask you two questions. The first one is, when we make a wish to Allah during Salah in Sajda, does it matter if it's the first time we say Subhana Rabbil A'la 3 times, or the second time? And the second question is, after Salah, do we make dua, or it's best during Salah? That's all. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I think we will stop taking questions until we finish, inshallah, this, and see if we can make it in 10 minutes. Nadia from Saudi Arabia, she says that someone told her that wearing fake jewelry is prohibited in Islam. Probably this person who told her this has a jewelry shop, and he's out of business. Nobody's buying jewelry. This is totally baseless. You can wear anything that you wish, and nobody wears fake jewelry and claims that it's real. Maybe those who say that this is prohibited are looking to those who wear fake watches and pretend that it is a real golden Rolex or a Daytona or whatever. And they are claiming something which is not real. This is haram, not because of it's not real, because of their pretending to do something which is not true. When a woman said to the Prophet ﷺ, I have a co-wife, and sometimes I pretend that my husband gave me this and that, so that I would show off to my co-wife, so my co-wife would be angered by that. The Prophet said, Al-mutashabbi'u bima lam yu'ta kalabisi thawbay zur. Those who claim and pretend what they do not have, as if they are wearing two garments of falsehood, of zur, of something that is not true. So this is one way of looking at it. But generally speaking, yes, you can wear whatever kind of false jewelry you wish, because no one pretends that this is real, and everybody knows that this is something nice to look at. Her second question was that regarding the issue of being fair and just in giving to your children. She says, okay, we have daughters. Now, my daughter is getting married. Do I have to give all the other offspring same what I give to my daughter? This is, again, not a gift. If it's a gift, yes, you have to give them all the same. But if it is part of preparing the bride to her husband. So many times, I have daughters. When my daughter gets married, she's given a dowry. From that dowry, she buys some clothes, some perfumes, some things to fill up her suits when she goes to her husband's house before the wedding night. And sometimes she runs out of money. In this case, I cannot allow my daughter to go and there are things missing, because her in-laws would look and say, look, she came without this, without that. So in some cultures, the father has to provide for his daughter before she goes to her husband's house. So if this is part of the party of the wedding, for example, the part of preparing her clothes-wise, maybe jewelry sometimes, then this is part of the marriage. Because the second daughter, once she gets married, the same thing is going to happen to her. If the man, the boy, is going to get married, the same thing is going to happen to him. But this is not part of an isolated incident of giving or favoring the boy over the others. Aziza from Nigeria, she says, can a woman practice law, a Muslim woman, if the law that she's practicing is in an Islamic country? So she's not going to refer to man-made laws, because this is haram for men and women. And if she will be abiding by the hijab and not being in seclusion with non-mahram men and not appearing in public. Yani, for example, if a woman says, I'd like to go to court and I have a defendant that I have to put his case and talk to the witnesses and talk to the DA and talk to the judge, and no, this is a man's job. But if you sit in the office and look at the case and put all the needed allegations and the references and prepare a case for them to present for the men, this is permissible. So I hope this answers your question. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia has a doubt regarding gelatin and the omega-3, the fish tablets they use for vitamin D, etc. What's the ruling on that? And does things around or found in Saudi Arabia pass a certain test? The answer is yes. There is an organization called Al-Muwasafat wal-Maqayis, Standards and Measurements, I think it's called. And their job is to look into whatever is imported to Saudi Arabia and putting it to the test. And we've said so many times that gelatin, when things are so tight, Allah makes them so wide and easy. And gelatin is almost in everything. And scholars have said that it undergoes a rigorous process that transforms its chemical and physical attributes so that it is not related anymore, and this is known as istihala. It is not related anymore to pigs or pork or whatever. Inshallah, it is permissible. Muhammad says that every time I take a bath, not from major ritual impurity, but rather just to cool down, I use the same process of making wudu and the same process of the sunnah ghusl. Is this okay? Yeah, this is totally permissible. Ahmed from Sweden, he said that two of my friends had a bet, and betting is haram in Islam. But one of them, after losing the bet, and he's a Muslim, and he's obliged to give the money to his non-Muslim friend, he realized that it is haram. So now he's saying, should I keep the 10 kronas in my pocket and save it because it's haram? Wow, alhamdulillah, it's haram. Well, my own personal opinion is that you must give it to your non-Muslim friend so that he would not accuse Islam of treason and lying. And you have to get 10 extra kronas or whatever, to charity. Because the rule is that the Prophet ﷺ, "Man qala li akhihi ta'ala uqamirka falyatasaddaq." Whoever tells his friend, I'll bet you that this and this on a can of soft drinks or this or whatever, whoever bets another, he has to give in charity. This is its expiation. So as long as you've already committed yourself, give what you have promised this disbeliever and give the same amount in means of charity. From USA, Jeddah says that we have a problem in the USA regarding halal meat. I'll put it in a nutshell. The norm is, as long as you're in the US or in Europe, it's a Christian country. And in the Quran, chapter 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, in the very beginning, Allah tells us that their meat, there is the people of the book, is halal for us. So this is a general rule. He's a Christian, he's got a restaurant, then the meat is halal. He said, Sheikh, maybe they do not slaughter and the majority don't slaughter. Akhi, this is not my role. Allah told me that this is halal. Now, if I know 100% for sure that this meat was not slaughtered, it was knocked down with a hammer, it was electrified, it was drowned, whatever, okay, then I have to refrain. If I don't have this knowledge, then the benefit of the doubt says I have the default, that is, I can eat from it. Now, this is a general rule, and this is a fatwa of Sheikh Abdul Aziz al-Baz and fatwa of Sheikh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen. If you're in America and Europe, you eat. If you're in Japan, it's a different story. If you're in India, it's a different story. This is not a Christian or a Jew country. This is a Hindu, Buddhist, etc. The problem is with KFC, for example, that if I do not know whether they slaughter or not, it's halal. Now, do they cook bacon with it? If they cook other haram meat and they use the same grill or they use the same oil when frying, in this case, the whole food is haram because the najasa is mixed. But if I know that this is only a steak house, this is like, for example, the butcher in Johannesburg, South Africa, very beautiful meat, very tender, very nice. And it's slaughtered. The Christian country, but they slaughter as well. If I know that they only sell beef, then I can go and eat. But if they sell bacon as well, then I have my doubts because bacon, even if it was slaughtered, is haram, it's najis. So if they use the same knives, the same forks, the same kitchen, then it becomes haram. So I hope this answers your question. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, what's the ruling on wiping on the socks? When you perform a full ablution, you wash your feet, and then you wear your socks while you are in the state of ablution. So after 2 hours of performing ablution, I'm still having my wudu on. If I wear my socks, next time I enter the bathroom for answering the call of nature or I break my wudu, when I make wudu, when I come to the position of the feet, all what I have to do is just wipe over the top of my foot and of the socks. That is sufficient, and this can go for 1 day, 24 hours for a residing person, or 72 hours for someone who is traveling. His second question was, when I perform wudu, there is water on my face. Can I wipe it off? Can I dry it? Some people say you have to leave it so that all the sins go away. No, there is nothing as such. There is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ performed wudu, and one of his wives gave him a towel and he rejected it. So some of the scholars said, I rejected it because it's not from the sunnah to wipe it off. And the answer is, the situation is not like that. Scholars say that maybe the towel had some dirt in it, maybe he did not want it, maybe he just wanted the water. So if you wipe your face afterwards, this is totally permissible. His third question, when the imam is making dua in Jumu'ah, should we followers raise our hands? The answer is totally no. This is not a part of the sunnah. The hadith clearly states that the companions never raised their hands in the Jum'ah when the Prophet was making dua, except in istisqa, when asking for rain. Thawba from Guinea says, what is the ruling of praying fard salat while the sun is rising? Should I wait? The answer is no. Fard salah, you can pray it any time of the day and night. Whether the sun is rising, whether the sun is setting, this is a fard, you have to pray it. Now, voluntary prayers is different, and it's a different story. Mona from the Emirates, she says, when making dua in sujood, should I say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la once or twice or 3 times, or can I say my dua before? No. You should minimum say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la once, and then you begin with your dua. If you say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la 3 times and begin your dua, this is even better. She says, what's the ruling on making dua after the salat? This is not part of the sunnah. The dua is to be made either when you're prostrating to Allah during salat, or after the tashahhud before offering salam. This is what the Prophet instructed us to do, alayhi salatu wasalam. Jackie says, if Allah was a loving God, why would He punish us for not saying our prayers? Being loving doesn't mean you're weak, or that you can do whatever you want and go unpunished. Being kind and loving does not go against being strong and fair and just. Allah Azza wa Jal would not treat those who pray and wake up in the middle of the night and at Fajr time and at Asr time, and He would not treat them similar to those who neglect prayer and do not pray at all. And we have 3 questions that we don't have the time to answer, but I will send you emails with their answers, inshallah. With this, we come to the end of our program. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance and